Alright, y'all, here we go. Main event of the night. It's going to be Nick Diaz versus the Prodigy BJ Penn. Now, of course, y'all know, obviously, this was supposed to be the co-main event, being that George St. Pierre and Carlos Condit was going to be the main event, which still sucks. I hate that. I really wanted to see how that fight was going to turn out, because I really think that Carlos Condit had a great chance of upsetting St. Pierre, and I still think he does, but it's just a damn shame I won't be able to see it, this year. But thank God, Dana White said via MMAJunkie.com that Carlos Condit is in no danger of losing his title shot to George St. Pierre, and he's still going to get a crack at the belt. So that is good news. So at least we will still have that main event. It's just a damn shame we won't have it Saturday. Or I should say later on tonight, because it's 2:33 in the morning. But anyway, here we go. BJ Penn, Nick Diaz. This is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a good main event. I think this probably might be the only fight that I'm looking forward to. Probably, you know what? I'll say the Jorgensen-Jeff Curran fight. I want to see that one. But I think Nick Diaz and BJ Penn is the main fight that I want to see. Because, you've got two outspoken, tough, well-rounded guys. Both are championship caliber fighters. Nick Diaz has been on an, unstoppable streak ever since he left the UFC. He was the Strikeforce welterweight champion and held that title for, I think, about, a year or something now before he left, before he had to vacate it and leave Strikeforce. I think Nick Diaz was probably the longest Strikeforce welterweight champion of all time, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I don't know. Y'all tell me. I could be wrong. But anyway, but yeah, Nick Diaz, man, he's one of a kind for sure. But so is BJ Penn. BJ Penn has, set a trend, not only in the welterweight division, but mainly in the lightweight division. That's where he was made famous. That's where his career, really took off in the lightweight division. Now, in the welterweight division, he did make some waves here too, because he beat Matt Hughes to win his first welterweight title. He beats, Cal Uno. Who will ever forget that knockout? He completely executed Diego Sanchez a couple of years ago. Outclassed Kenny Florian. Beat up Sean Shirk at UFC 83. I'll never forget that. He completely just, I don't want to say he murdered Joe Stevenson, because that's a little bit, too harsh and a little bit too gruesome. But, he straight damaged that guy. I mean, seriously. He damaged Joe Stevenson. That was probably one of the more violent performances I've ever seen from a fighter, as long as I've watched MMA. BJ Penn has fucked some people up. Seriously. He has fucked some people up. For real. And that's, no lie. He has really messed some people up. So, the reason why this fight is so interesting to me is because, these guys, are gonna, they're gonna go all the way in. They're gonna stay. They're gonna be right in each other's face, trading punches. You know, the other man is going to take the other man's best. I mean, Nick Diaz is going to take BJ Penn's best shot. BJ Penn is going to take Nick Diaz's best shot. I mean, that's how this is going to go. And that's all there is to it. I mean, there's really nothing more you can say. Now, just looking at the fight from a technical standpoint, I mean, both guys are really well-rounded. I would give BJ Penn the wrestling advantage just because Nick Diaz doesn't have really good wrestling defense. But at the same time, you say that, and he gets taken down, but yet he winds up submitting guys off of his back. So technically, you really can't say, his wrestling defense is bad because, Nick Diaz doesn't mind going to the ground. But I think the thing about it is can he stuff, takedowns? We've really never seen Nick Diaz really taken down like that, too often. We may have seen it on a couple of occasions, but we never really seen it like, consistently. Somebody just, double leg Diaz and just take him down, because most of the time it's Nick Diaz that's in control of the fight. I mean, sure, he'll be getting punished, but at the same time, he'll still, he'll still be able to come forward and continue doing damage to his opponent. Now, as far as striking is concerned, I really think both of these guys are even. I think BJ Penn is a lot more technical than Nick Diaz is. I think, Nick Diaz, he's more fluid with his punches, but I think BJ Penn, he has the footwork, he has the head movement, and he has the accuracy as well. Could BJ Penn catch Nick Diaz? Of course he could. Of course he could. But at the same time, Nick Diaz could catch BJ Penn too. Now, the thing about it is, if BJ Penn catches, if Nick Diaz catches BJ Penn, I don't think that'll be enough to knock BJ Penn out. I do think that if BJ Penn catches Nick Diaz right on the button, then I believe that BJ Penn will be able to knock out Nick Diaz. Because, nobody really expected BJ Penn to knock out Matt Hughes, but look what happened. You know what I'm saying? So, and Matt Hughes, he's got a hard chin. Matt Hughes can take some punches, but BJ Penn just hit him like right on the dot. So if BJ Penn can land that right hook, right on the dot of Diaz's jaw, I think he'll drop him. Carlos Condit did it. Dan Hardy, there's another example. Dan Hardy, another guy with a solid chin that seemed, nobody could knock this guy out, but Carlos Condit found, that one spot on his chin, and he caught him, and he put him down. For the most part, this is a fairly even fight. If either guy goes to the mat, or if it stays standing up, it's a close call. I think the thing that's gonna win either man this fight is, who can be one step ahead of the other. That's what I think. It's gonna basically be, the smartest man will win this fight, pretty much. Because these guys are both tough, but they're both skilled at the same time. BJ Penn has world-class grappling ability. BJJ black belt, as is Nick Diaz as well. So, like I said, I think it's going to be, who's going to be the smarter fighter in this situation. But then again, at the same time, like I said, both of these guys are just going to be going out there and just, going to town, just not even caring. You know what I'm saying? But who do I see winning this fight? Man, that's the hard question. That's the difficult one. I'll tell you one thing. This fight will go to a decision. Because, like I said, both of these guys are tough. And I really can't see one, ending the fight. Now, at the same time, when I say that, I could be wrong. Nick Diaz could, catch BJ Penn slipping. He could bait him in. If he's on his back, he could bait him, into going, thinking he's about to put him in a triangle, and BJ Penn could just stick that arm out, and he could mess around and get an arm bar. The same thing with BJ Penn. BJ Penn, he could, get into side control and, basically bait Nick Diaz into, flinching. BJ Penn could fake like he's about to drop an elbow on Diaz, and Diaz could end up, flinching, and BJ Penn just jumping the mount, and, he could basically get maybe like an arm triangle or something of that nature. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. But, you know what? I'm going to have to choose somebody. And, like I said, this is a close fight. But I'm going to have to go with, I'm going to have to go with my gut. I'm going to have to go with my gut on this. I think BJ Penn's going to win this fight. I don't know why, but for some reason, I just think that BJ Penn's going to win this fight. And he's going to win it by split decision. I think this is going to be a split decision, and I think BJ Penn I think he will rock Nick Diaz a couple of times. I think he's going to catch him like right on point, just bam, just with accuracy. I'm not going to say he'll knock him down, but he'll wobble him. He'll wobble him a couple of times. I just think that, BJ Penn is going to be a lot quicker. I think he's going to use his head movement. He's going to use that jab that he likes to use. He's going to let his hands go with the combinations. I think he'll score points with the takedowns at times. He'll go for submission attempts. Although I think Nick Diaz will end up reversing half of those submission attempts and getting back standing up. But it'll still be more points for BJ Penn. I just think that Nick Diaz is, being that he didn't get the fight that he wanted with GSP, I think he's still going to carry a lot of that anger and a lot of that emotion with him into the ring, or into the octagon, because, Nick Diaz is a real emotional guy anyway. He doesn't know how to channel his emotions like that. So I think that's going to end up costing him, and I think he's, just going to, be so pissed off, and he's going to, try to be Mr. Big Shot, and he's going to be, showboating and trying to, play with BJ Penn, and I think BJ is going to capitalize off of that. But like I said, Nick Diaz will have his moments too. I think, he'll start a flurry on BJ Penn with those volume combination punches, and, I think he'll go for some takedowns and stuff. But, I think BJ knows that this is a big fight, and I think he knows that a big win for him, will really get him into contendership in the welterweight division. So I think BJ is going to play it smart, and I think he'll end up outpointing Nick Diaz. So I'm going with BJ Penn, unanimous decision. Enjoy the fight.